Coming up January 1st on the Whimsy Farm podcast, we begin season two. I speak with author and educator Laura Pritchett about honoring the wildness within us, particularly in these winter months.
The wild within, res- living a life that resonates with the wild within. I have done much growing and changing in my life, and I'm proud of the hard work I put into it. But one thing I can say is, for whatever reason, I thought I was going to die young. Even as a child, I assumed I was going to die any day now. And I'm sure it had to do with things that came up in my childhood or maybe just an active imagination or something. But one thing that I am proud of, and I say that humbly as someone in process, but one thing I'm proud of is I have always lived as if I am about to die, which makes it very easy to prioritize one's dreams. And another way of living in resonance with the wild has to do with my deepening relationship with the natural world and some serious effort I'm putting into that in all kinds of ways. But really, mostly about stepping away from this old mindset that I was raised in that humans are separate from nature and we're somehow better, different, set apart, to be in relationship with the rest of the world. And a lot of that has to do with language, which circles back to writing. For me, what we name something really matters. And I'm sure you've been thinking about this and your listeners have too, but this renewed call or new call to change the way we refer to things. It's easy to cut down a tree when it's an it, and it's harder to cut down a tree when it's a she.
Last summer, 2024, I found growing alongside a pillar on my back deck a bur oak. And it is, I think, the only oak on my property.
Hmm.
And there it was, struggling to grow up and find some sun around this wooden pillar. And the first thing I thought when I saw it was, now I have to take the deck down.
I love it.
And I still do think that.
There's a phrase in Greek, debitum natere, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but I do know that like our debt to nature is to die. If we're born, we must die. And it's a beautiful process, really. It must happen and it's natural. And so really feeling that in my bones, like not just intellectually, but feeling it in my bones deep down, it makes me much less fearful of death, which again helps me live my life of like, what do I want to do? I want to write books. I want to teach. I want to get people speaking up for planet Earth.
What happened to people and what happened to me when I was much younger, when I didn't have that connection to the wild within, I think that the antonym to that is recklessness, that we can be reckless in many ways when we don't have that touchstone inside of us of the wild within. I was wondering what you thought of that and what that wild within means to you.
Oh, that's such a good question. Can I turn it back on you briefly? Is that allowed? I'm just curious
That's allowed.
the recklessness that you experienced maybe at a time when you didn't have the touchstone.
What more about that?
Hmm.
I think I loved very selfishly. I think I tended to walk with agendas. I think I was fear-based. I think I was sometimes unkind. How'd I do?
Wow. It gives me a shiver, really. I think what a beautiful summary. It really resonates with me. Uh, and it resonates with how I observe parts of our culture operating as well. This makes me think of something that's been on my mind a lot lately, which is the shifting baseline syndrome, as I've heard it's called. But the shifting baseline of what we assume is normal in nature. For example, our windshields used to be covered with bugs, and now they're not. But my kids and younger folks don't remember that time. So their new normal is, oh, there's just fewer bugs. And my another example of that is I have a vague memory of being able to drink from streams when I went camping as a child. And my parents certainly did. They drank from streams. And now my kids would never drink from a stream. That's their normal. They think the world's always been that way. And so every generation, we kind of lose what used to be normal, and then there's a new normal, and, we forget what the planet was like before any of these normals, right?
And it also reminded me of another quote of Utah Phillips. He said, "The long memory is the most radical idea in America." And he was talking
Mm.
about that shifting baseline
Good. So
that
when I read, yeah, a while ago, "Good people doing good things," your tagline or, the identifier, I immediately thought of this poem by Margaret Newton, and I don't know her well, but I love this poem, and I send it to everyone I know who is a good person doing good things. So can I read it?
please.
Trust that you know some people who will surprise you with the way they care for the world and every small spider, the way they care for you as you open and shut and then open again. Polish the way they shine. Recognize yourselves in shared water.
Episode 18 of the Whimsy Farm podcast streams January 1st, 2026, on my YouTube channel, Carolyn Crane and Whimsy Farm, on my website, whimsyfarm.net, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Whimsy Farm.